The following reading is a summary of the book of Exodus that can be found online at evergrowingchristians.com/the book of Exodus summary by chapter /. Permission has been given me by Paulinus to record this. The book of Exodus is a stirring narrative that chronicles the liberation of the Israelites from slavery in Egypt under the leadership of Moses. Through miraculous interventions, such as the parting of the Red Sea and divine revelations, including the Ten Commandments, the Israelites experience God's power and faithfulness. They journey through the wilderness, facing challenges and witnessing miracles as they learn to rely on God. The book culminates with the construction of the Tabernacle, a symbol of God's abiding presence and covenant with his people. The book of Exodus, summary by chapter. Chapter 1. The Israelites in Bondage. In this opening chapter, the scene is set with the Israelites in Egypt, who have multiplied exceedingly. The new Pharaoh, who didn't know Joseph, sees them as a threat. To counter this perceived threat, Pharaoh orders harsh labor and affliction upon the Israelites. He also orders the midwives to kill any newborn Hebrew boy. But the midwives fear God and do not obey Pharaoh. Chapter 2. The birth and early life of Moses. Here we are introduced to Moses. His mother hides him to save him from Pharaoh's decree and places him in a basket on the Nile. He is found by Pharaoh's daughter and raised as an Egyptian prince. Later, Moses witnesses an Egyptian beating a Hebrew and kills the Egyptian. When Pharaoh finds out, Moses flees to Midian, where he marries and starts a family. Chapter 3. Moses and the burning bush. Moses encounters a burning bush that is not consumed by the flames. It is here that God speaks to him, revealing his name as I Am, and commissions Moses to deliver the Israelites from Egypt. God assures Moses that he will be with him and gives him a sign that will convince the Israelites that God has sent him. Chapter 4. Signs and Wonders. Despite God's assurance, Moses doubts his ability to convince the Israelites and Pharaoh. In response, God equips Moses with miraculous signs, such as turning his staff into a snake. God instructs Moses to return to Egypt. Along the way, Moses' wife, Zipporah, circumcises their son to avert God's wrath. Chapter 5. Pharaoh's hardened heart. Moses and Aaron ask Pharaoh to let the Israelites go to worship God. Pharaoh not only refuses, but also increases the Israelites' workload, making their lives even more miserable. The Israelites blame Moses and Aaron for their increased suffering, and Moses questions why God has allowed this to happen. Chapter 6. God's Covenant Renewed. God speaks to Moses again, reassuring him that he will deliver the Israelites. He established his covenant with them, promising to bring them into the promised land. This chapter also includes the genealogy of Moses and Aaron, establishing their lineage and authority. Chapter 7. The first plague. Water turned to blood. God gives Moses and Aaron the task of showing his signs and wonders in Egypt. Aaron's staff turns into a snake before Pharaoh. But Pharaoh's magicians replicate the miracle, hardening Pharaoh's heart. The first plague strikes as Aaron turns the Nile River into blood. The fish die and the river stinks, but Pharaoh remains unmoved. Chapter 8. The plague of frogs, gnats, and flies. God sends a plague of frogs upon Egypt. Pharaoh promises to let the Israelites go if Moses removes the frogs. But once they are gone, Pharaoh hardens his heart. Next, God turns the dust into gnats that infest Egypt. Then, God sends a swarm of flies, which leads Pharaoh to negotiate with Moses, but again, he goes back on his word. Chapter 9. The plagues of livestock, boils, and hail. God continues to send plagues. The fifth plague causes the Egyptian livestock to die. Then, boils break out on the people and animals. The seventh plague is hail, which destroys crops and livestock. Pharaoh admits his sin, but once again hardens his heart when the plague is lifted.